Right, I remember. They were from Miami or something.
I think they were from Nebraska.
Anywho, this two-man crew in particular probably brings the highest level of hijinks of any two-man crew that could be
It's very
established.
possible.
Yeah,
It's very possible.
yeah. So we're going to talk about other things.
Maybe we should try to clamp down on that a bit.
Clamp it?
Jed, maybe we should Jed it. Jed, clamp it.
Yeah.
See, listeners, you had no idea.
Okay, so let's do a sponsor. We have a lot of fun things for today. We have another panel to let you all hear. But first, we're going to talk about our sponsor, Bradley. Go.
DCBService.com. You guys know them. You've heard us talk about them. Get all your cool Walking Dead paraphernalia there. They've got some really cool stuff. Walking Dead stuff. Oh my goodness, what is that I see? It's a Walking Dead TV zombie bust. He looks familiar. Who is that? Could that be Buster?
It's a Buster Bust.
It sure looks like it. The picture's a little small on the website, but it sure looks like Buster. It looks like he's wearing the black jacket and the purple shirt. That's awesome.
They call him the tank zombie bust, which somebody is obviously not listening.
Well, he was in the episode with the tank. You know, which was the pilot. He was there.
He was
close
in
to
the
the
episode with
tank.
Bust too.
Yeah, they should have called him Buster Bust, Zombie Bust.
Right.
That would have been a little confusing. Buster, Zombie Bust.
Right. It would have brought alliteration into the mix though, which is always
That would have been pretty awesome.
Right.
You can never have too much alliteration.
I agree.
Just ask Barbara Wawa.
Continue, Brad.
The Walking Dead omnibus hardcover. They've got a new, the next volume of that. It's volume 3 is out. Each of these hardcover omnibus volumes contain 24 issues, so it's like 4 of the trade paperbacks in one large hardcover.
Very large.
Yes, and they've reprinted volume 1 omnibus, so you can pick that up. I think volume 2 probably is also still available. Volume 3 has just come out. Back to the zombie bus. You can also pick up the Bicycle Girl zombie, which is pretty cool looking. DCBService.com. They've got loads of stuff, not just Walking Dead stuff, but comics and toys and statues and all kinds of stuff. If you ever place an order with them and you haven't done it yet, the first time you do it, you can use WD8. If that code does not work, just give customer service an email and let them know that you would like to use that code, and they will hook you right up. That's customer.service@dcbservice.com.
There's a Triumph of the Walking Dead on page and screen book, which I'm kind of interested in. It seems to be like a history of the comics and Kirkman before it exploded on TV, and that's $10.47, which is pretty reasonable for a book these days. So I'm interested in checking that one out. And the omnibus hardcovers are great. And the volume 1 was one of those things that was out of print for a long period of time. So getting that back is really cool.
They're oversized and very thick, so you actually could probably kill a zombie with that book. That's how big it is.
Easily. I've been killing zombies for about 48 hours straight.
Dadgummit, did you get that game?
I got the Dead Island game.
Oh man, I want that so bad.
Okay.
Is it fun?
Oh, okay. Here's the deal. Did you?
Now, is it anything like that trailer that they showed us?
I don't recall the trailer.
Okay.
Nothing is ever like a trailer. That's the cutscene.
Don't you remember the trailer? They showed it. I can't remember if they showed the thing in reverse and then they showed it back forward, or they showed it forward and then they showed the whole thing in reverse. Do you remember that video?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
No, the game's not like that.
Okay.
The game is like either Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, in that you run around this island and there are zombies everywhere that just chase you, and there's different kinds of zombies, and you have to find weapons and do tasks and side missions that are around as you go through the story. But it has another level. It's not just Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption. They throw the role playing into it. So every level, there's experience points, there's levels you add to your skill and get new skills, and there's also weapon combining, like Dead Rising. So
Very cool.
Yeah, and your weapons have stats as well. So like if you keep beating them over the head with a bat, eventually the bat will break. And the same thing goes for your knives or whatever. And you can like combine, duct tape and a box of nails and a knife together and make that would be a good combination. But you can combine things and make really cool other weapons. And I just found a Jeep that worked.
Oh yeah.
And now I just zip around the island and run them down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is really awesome.
I totally want that game. Are you playing on the Xbox or the PS3?
Yeah, I played on the Xbox, and I know our buddy Aaron from the Out Now podcast plays it on PS3, and he says it's really good. And there's 4-player co-op. So if
yeah, it's too bad you can't play cross-platform.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that kind of stinks. But it finds people that are near your level of play or in the same quest as you are, and it'll say, do you want to join them or do you want them to join you? And you can put yes or no or whatever, and then you can play co-op.
That's awesome.
It really is
scary.
It is, and when you get surprised, your character freaks out and screams, and the screen gets all blurry, and your controller will like vibrate or whatever, and you can't do anything for a couple seconds while he recovers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky. I am the Asian female blade expert. There is a black gangster rap sort of tank guy who's good with blunt weapons, and there's a jock dude who throws things really well, and there's an assassin girl bodyguard who is the master of guns. And I have not even found a gun yet. I'm like level 5. I can't find a gun. I'm using bats and broken knives and things right now.
Okay, you sold me. I want it.
It's really good, bro. I know.
I have to sell some plasma to go get it. I think
you can sell plasma. You can sell video games, comic books. You can make it happen. But yeah, $60 below. Video games just are too much money. But this one's a lot.
I'm always behind the curve when it comes to video games. I played Red Dead Redemption when it only cost me $29.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to go. To be honest with you, I have a bad combination. I'm ADD and I am also
impulsive.
Right, obsessive compulsive disorder. So I have to have the new game now, and then I'm tired of it in like 15 minutes.
Right, I hear you.
So that's bad.
I've only bought one video game at full price when it was released, so I'm the kind that just waits usually. So I'm cool with that, but I'll be playing it vicariously through you.
Yeah, this one's a good one. And you know what? It's not like an online game. Like if you buy it in 3 months, you're not missing anything. You're just you can play whenever and it'll be awesome.
How many hours of? Well, if you say it's like Red Dead, I've never played Grand Theft Auto, but if you said it's like Red Dead Redemption, theoretically you could play that till you die.
Forever. I mean, I can't. I'm on the main quest, and it like sends me across the island, and everywhere you walk or drive or run, you see the little exclamation points on the map saying, "Hey, if you talk to me, I'll give you something else to do."
Right.
They're just everywhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's totally. I thought I was going to be really smart and blow up a gas tank to make this really hard zombie die, and that worked. But the explosion brought like 50 other zombies to me.
Wow.
So I died.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm all over.
Sorry, but it's a lot of fun. But as we say on the Legion of Dudes, we are not here to talk about video games. Have you ever heard us say that, or do you not listen?
No, I listen, and I've heard you guys say that. I've heard you say it on the show too. You know what? I'll probably start saying it on Half Hour Wasted just to round it out.
That'll never work.
That's true. We kind of get carried away. Can I put a little plug in? When is this episode going to air?
This will probably air Sunday.
Okay. Well then, if somebody's listening to this on that day, if they go to the HHWLOD website, pull up the latest episode of Half Hour Wasted. Actually, it'll air Monday the 12th. We kind of branched out and did something a little different, and we did a fantasy football discussion. Bill, the voice McGonnell, he's a good guy and I love him. He's been harping on us about doing something sports related. So it was pretty funny. Frank and I showed up one day to record at Bill's house, and he said, and there's a strange person there, and he goes, "Oh, this is Pat, and we're going to talk about fantasy football in the second episode we record." And we're like, he didn't say, "Would this be cool?" He just said, "This is what we're doing."
Right,
So
well,
anyway, I
his
just rolled with it.
Right,
It was
it's his
fun.
porch. So
Yeah, it was fun. So listen for that if you're interested.
very cool. So for this evening, Brad, we have another Dragon Con panel. We had released the Norman Reedus Dragon Con panel. I wanted to get that one out as quickly as possible because the Dixons Vixens worked so hard to get it to us in a hurry. So I wanted to return the favor and get it out there for all of them to hear that weren't able to be at Dragon Con.
You know, I don't know that I've been acquainted with a more rabid group of fans than the Dixons Vixens. It's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. And every time I turn around, we're getting like retweeted or follow Friday or, whatever. So they're cool. So that's part of why I wanted to get that Norman Reedus one out as quickly as possible. So that worked out really well. But now we have the other Walking Dead panel from Dragon Con, which happened last weekend. This panel has John Bernthal, Shane, of course, Laurie Holden, who is Andrea, Stephen Yoon, who is Glenn, and we have the kids again. Chandler Riggs is Carl. We have Madison Lintz, who is Sophia, and Addie Miller, who is described here as the frightening little zombie girl from the opening episode. She was quite frightening. Yeah, Teddy Bear Girl. We were just saying she could, hopefully she has a great career in acting or whatever she wants to do, but she could probably do panels and signings for, a good while now, just off that first scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what do we want to say before we run this, Brad? There are a couple of spoilers, I would say, mild, more of the book than the show. They're really pretty tight-lipped about the show.
Well, I was going to bring something up as far as that goes, and maybe I'll wait till it's done so everybody can experience, the thing without any
preconceived notions?
Yeah. So why don't we just roll it, and then I'll bring it up later.
Okay, I do want to say a couple of other things quickly. Mild spoilers, more for the book. We just said that. A little bit of language, just to let you know. We don't generally have the cursing. We do the beep outs and whatever. There's a little bit mild, if I remember correctly, right, Brad? Like maybe one towards the end or something.
Yeah, there's an A word, but taken in context, it's fine.
Yeah, just a heads up in case you're in the car with the kiddies
Right.
or whatever. And we do not have the introductions. So obviously, the two adult voices that you're going to hear are John and Stephen, and you have Laurie as the adult female, and then the three kids kind of chime in. It's a little echoey in the beginning, but it gets a lot better as it goes on. So here we go with the Dragon Con 2011 Walking Dead panel, part 2.
Funny questions. Funny things that happen outside. Man, you're all just done. Please only ask us like math questions. Last year, something that was funny was Andy Rothenberg played Jim. You guys know Jim? Yeah. He's a great actor, and it was right after she shot her sister in the head, and we were all really sad and emotional about it. And we were burying bodies, and I was trying to be sad and emotional. That's my job. And the cameras were on me, and I looked over the cameras, and Andy Rothenberg was being sad and emotional over there. And he looked at me, and he just mouthed, "I love you." So that was funny.
And there's one time last season, they would call cut. I don't know why. But we're all trying to like dramatic poses. Remember last year when we decided to leave camp? There was one time they wouldn't call cut. And so we were all like in so dramatic faces until Nora like he's done, he's done. It was so funny.
Can we get anonymous questions from wherever? Oh, okay.
This is very honest. How do you set yourself up for portraying a scene in Emotional Boss? What do you think of in mind, and are you able to produce tears without synthetic support?
Synthetic support. You know what? This is a true testament to how amazing our cast is. And it's not necessarily that people do our cast have the ability to cry on cue like that. And I don't think anybody uses synthetic support. But what's really cool is we as a cast get together and all really get in the zone. And if it's going to be a serious scene, everybody has their own methods, but there's a general vibe. Even for me, I can't cry on cue, but I can get into that emotional place and then let that meet me there. But then it also helps if other people are in the same place with me. And I think we all gel together in that way. There are some amazing actors. All cast are all amazing, but specifically like Melissa McBride. If you ever want to feel sad, let her just do some acting in front of you. And not that way. So tired. No, Melissa is phenomenal. And there's a couple scenes that we had where I couldn't get there, and I was like, oh, I'm so frustrated, but I can't get to that place. And I just looked at Melissa in the middle of the scene, and I just broke down. And that happens all the time, and I think that's really cool. And then people do weird stuff like Andy does this. And then she bursts her lines to for trees and birch and oh, hey, we call action. Where's Holden? Oh, she's talking to a tree.
Do ever vision zombie extras to surprise and get a more real reaction?
You feel like posters do something weird and
Well, like have you guys walk the scene and not know that somebody's gonna come around and jump out at you or something? Or...
No, it's all scripted, so a lot of hard work and preparation goes into.
But they do this. They don't. If it's like a really, if it's like a hero zombie, like a very important hero zombie, sometimes they won't show you what they look like until the cameras come up. That's happened to me, and it's pretty awesome. So it's pretty awesome.
They certainly should do that though, because you get more of a real reaction. I would certainly freak out if something jumped out at me. They know what's coming. I was the one scaring people on set, so don't ask me.
When did you get into the zombie genre?
we start the show. And so, what's it like?
About 28 days. That was my favorite zombie show. And I mean, our zombies are different because they don't move as fast as the zombies, but I think that we're similar in the fact that we're so apocalyptic and it's not campy. And I don't know, it's really pretty. And I feel like just like 28 days, it's really about people trying to survive. And you know, it's really kind of about the human condition. So yeah.
And exactly, like after a while, like after the show, after a while people start figuring out there's no gear for this. This is life. That's very well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Survival drama.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I'm not necessarily a huge zombie genre fan. I think for me, what's awesome is the charm of the show is that it's not necessarily about zombies, and it's about, you know, survivors and the zombies in the backdrop and the constant infliction. But if you're also scared of, you know, who can stab you in the back or, you know, take you out when you're sleeping.
You know, it's not really about, for me, it's not really about the genre, not the genre, but I actually hate zombies. The show's made me hate them. And I loathe them, and people, especially at publicity events, like to dress up like them, and I want to kill them. I'm trying to be clear to all people playing the zombies, I do not like them. I love actors, I love people, but I hate zombies. Call me a pinky method actor, but I hate them. So,
Thank you.
yeah, no, I love you, sweetheart. If you dress up like a zombie, it's a different deal. I think that what's so cool about this is I think eventually, just like from the graphic novel, I think that zombies are only so dangerous. I think they're really dangerous in a line of human beings, and zombies are something we'll end up being able to deal with more or less. But there's evil inside people that I think is far more dark.
Next question.
You actually kind of led into my question. I was wondering if you actually read the graphic novels, and if you had, did you use that as background for the characters?
Oh no, I don't read that. Well, we just think my mom would add and do skip pages, but I didn't know what it were, an old novel graphic thing. I really didn't know what my mom was adding skip so many pages.
You probably didn't know. I have to wait a page in the book. Yeah, because on every other page, I do read that novel. Oh, I have that face up. And I am a child graphic. Like getting a set, it's crazy. And getting to the ADR, I have the worst oftentimes. Like on Wednesday night, 5:30. And so I'll probably just be sitting there when I have the earbuds in, just not listening to all the ears going on.
Yeah, I read it before we even started. I was into it, and then I stopped as soon as I got past it because I didn't want to inform too much. But I think what's really cool is that we were all fans of the graphic novel. We read it and we know what the small essence of these characters are. But everyone brings their own unique kind of vibe to each character, and it's not straight off the page. And I think that's what's so cool is they just casted this perfectly. You know what I mean? Not from like a hey, you should do it this way perspective, but like that guy is Shane or that guy is Dale or whatever. You know, it's perfectly casted, so it's pretty awesome in that way.
What was the inspiration for racing knowledge in Georgia? You know?
I think they were looking for a quarry, and there was a quarry in Atlanta better than any other one.
Did you get the Mountain right? That's you probably gotta ask Rob Kirkman that
I was from
question.
Kentucky, and I think it was to try to get to sort of the biggest, to try to head towards Atlanta, because that would be kind of the biggest city center in the area. So that's where everybody was walking.
And plus the city in the background. No, the city was actually, it was so cool at night. All what?
That was no, come on, ass.
I'm native to Georgia. It's nice to see Washington State.
I think that's what it is too. I mean, I think Robert wanted to give that kind of some love. It's an amazing city, and it's perfect to have it. It's a bustling metropolitan area, so perfect.
As far as the TV show, I can't speak as far as the graphic novel. As far as the TV show being set in Georgia, I think Georgia is. I think it's one, especially whereas last season was Atlanta. I think this season is more rural Georgia. If I'm allowed to say that, and not get too fired or both. But I think Georgia is a huge. I mean, it's one of the central characters to the piece, and I'm so happy that we are shooting here because there's some. First of all, I think the crews, the film crew that we have is the best crew I've ever worked with in my entire life. I think the people of Georgia are the best filmmakers just out there. And as far as just there's types of trees, there's types of fields, there's types of heat, there's types of bugs here, and it's all a huge part of it. And I mean, it's the bugs, man.
Velvet ants. You know what a velvet ant is?
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Orange stripes.
Orange stripes.
All the bugs are for real. Take it to the side.
Yeah, the negative ones like won't let but a bug is down on the ground. So and they come out early to like scare all the snakes.
No, it's not. We all get ticks and bites and tick checks, and I mean, it's ridiculous. It's scratch all the time. If you get scratched on the show, you'll know when it's real. That's a scratch now.
Yeah.
Next question.
First of all, thanks for coming out. I know you all are really tired. Maybe one kick-ass show for all the city. I was curious. Like, it maybe answered in public, so I haven't read it, but I was wondering why y'all called zombies geeks.
I'm gonna that too. I really asked that.
I think geeks is just something that I think the wonderful Micah Frank kind of came up with. And, I think geeks is from circus geeks, like the kind of freaks of the circus, and it's just another way to refer to them, much as they're called walkers and not zombies. And I don't think we ever refer to them as zombies because it's a world that didn't know what they were prior. So to call them zombies would be a little bit too convenient, and to someone say that looks like a zombie when that wouldn't have been created yet. So I think that's what that is. Frank.
the real world now, tomorrow, the zombie outbreak will have what's happened, what's our plan?
Why doesn't it go in the basement? I don't know why. The basement is like sick. Even though people are scared of basements.
I got all my videos in my, or in the ammo forum and my Xbox.
I would take my brothers and I and climb up a tree and eat a bunch of leaves. I can teach them that they're coffee cats. They do whatever I do, so they'll be pretty easy unless they fall out.
Whenever I ask this question, I think it's really important to lay out guidelines. Like, what's going on? How many people are still alive? Like, are they just, like, are really pretty girls not being eaten? Does the ratio get better for somebody? I think those are very key questions for me to answer effectively. So I'm good with, yeah, I just want to answer right now. Yes?
In the event of an actual zombie outbreak, what would be your favorite way to dispatch zombies? Not to say this, your favorite way.
I would get a huge knife and slice right down the head. I would play fire and burn out.
I know we're like, kids are more violent than adults. I was in the head. She wants to, like, get trained, she wants to, like, cut her head in half. I think I'm on a chainsaw, you know, burn them.
Or a tank, whatever.
That's high school.
Okay, kind of answer this a little bit, but I'm going to ask it kind of a different way, but I'm a mom of a 10-year-old boy and a 7-year-old who doesn't care about zombies. The 10-year-old is always telling me to read the book, my husband doesn't want me to read. And I want to watch the show. And I was wondering, I know Shannon just read them, but how much of the show do you guys actually see? Are you everything that's going on, or is they kind of affected with it?
My parents have to watch the whole thing first just in case there's something I can't see, like the opening of season, episode 2, yes. And the gory parts don't bore me, but I like to watch the gore. Typically saying, but I do. But they watch it before me, so. Yes. Yeah, I only have to watch the first part, but all the gory parts, like Rock Village, so that was on. So, yeah.
We only have 15 more minutes and nobody else in the lines, okay? So everybody's hang tight, we'll finish with these guys. Thank you. Next.
Hey guys, I'm a huge fan of comics, had it for years, so thank you so much for doing such an awesome job of interpreting these characters. Good job. So my question is, are there any friends on set, or anybody like friends on set, or any passions?
Back in season 1, there was Eliza and the other kid. The two twins, there's supposed to be the two twins that the family left in episode 5. They went to Alabama, they didn't go with their to the CDC. The two kids, the boy, his name is Noah, and we're in the toy tent. They're doing episode 5. Yeah, and one of the zombies lives on, was laying on the ground. And we looked at me, so we walked in, and we sat down on the chairs. It was like a toy tent, so it wasn't nearly as hot in there. So Noah came in. Well, first she sat up and scared the crap out of us. And Noah walked in. We were like, go get that baby over there. So she went over there. She was, and his mom was like, it's $1,000. No, it's fine. So he walked out of there, and he walked in there, and he was just about to kick it, and then she like, sat up and grabbed his leg. He walked out of the hilarious.
Yeah, John? Threw a bunch of, John hates crickets real bad. And so Andy Rothberg, the same guy that did I Love You Bit, threw like a bunch of crickets in his trailer.
In my house, and in my car, and what it was, just I hate crickets, man. Crickets flying, it's just like, I hate them both. And then I was in Los Angeles before the show started, I was doing that play there actually, and the stage manager came backstage, and I was getting dressed, and said I had some for you, it was an envelope full of crickets.
Was that? No, it was Sarah. You were going at her. You were like, I know it was you.
So was there ever a point on the set whenever you guys were surrounded by gallons of fake blood and fake brains and miles of baby trails? Is there ever a point where you guys were actually literally physically grossed out there and making?
well, I'm kind of grossed out by blood. I don't like it. But the fake blood doesn't bother me. I don't know why. There's never really been a point where I'm grossed out by it, though.
Greg Nicotero, I don't know if you guys are familiar with his work, but he's the absolute best in the business. He's a genius, and he's an artist. He makes all. It's weird because I think that to me it's become a thing of beauty. Like it doesn't like more disgusting. That is so beautiful. It's such beautiful work. It is, and it's really beautiful. Like this team of artists, they do it beautifully. And there's some nasty stuff this year, like nasty.
Yeah, like last season, I was at a big chocolate slice of cake, you know, and so sitting down, like literally right before I get a bite, this zombie walked in and like half of her jaws all tongue. So you remember that? Oh, I don't eat my chocolate cake.
So, first off, if you can pass on thanks for not going for the cheap, jumpy scares, I would appreciate it. I love that. I want to know if you guys knew about DragonCon before this year, and what are you guys fans of in the DragonCon world?
Yeah, I go to a lot of any like they drive all these times. Like they drove to Chicago. Where else? They live in North Carolina. So where else?
Carolina. We drove to Louisville, Kentucky, Philadelphia. We drove here. We went to Orlando that time for the first time. And we pretty much drove to all these. We like to see all the views, and on the way to Chicago, we passed this window farm. It was beautiful, but at night we were passing it for the first time, and there was a bunch of red blinking lights. So we're like, what the heck is going on here? con ever. I was gonna go to the Philadelphia one, but we got sick. Really sick.
So do you want me to answer the question? So, I don't think any of us knew about DragonCon before this. It's an absolute pleasure to be here because look at how many people are here. This is awesome. Thank you guys.
Atlanta has been so wonderful to us, and we love the people and just everything about it. So to be in Atlanta, it's probably the most special.
This is my biggest fan ever. I didn't go to San Diego, but this is the best route I've ever seen.
Hit these two questions really fast.
Okay, during the show, a lot of times you guys have to work with guns and weaponry and things like that when you're dispatching walkers. I wonder if there's any kind of training that you received prior to shooting, or do they want you to look like a typical person who was handling one of the weapons for the first time as an amateur?
I'll answer this question. They do preference because there's safety on set. You know, they do say there's going to be this many loads, this many shots, and so on. So we have training with it in that they teach us how to fire, but they don't do any in-depth training per se. And it is cool because it feeds into our characters. It just happens to be that it is cool. You know, what I mean, it's not something that we're working towards or whatever it is. But it's cool to see people messily shoot things, but still control because you don't want loads on the face off.
Cool. They are really careful. Like there's like actual shots. Things that what's in the I don't know about them. The things are NPC are shooting out. I think. Like they'll get earplugs. They'll like color skin color with the earplugs when they're actually shooting, and they're really careful about that.
Last question.
Question, John. Given that Shane's, shall I say, fate has already differed from the one in the book, do you find that liberating as an actor?
Do I find liberating that it's different than it is in the book?
Yes. Well, as everyone else has established, character arc of the sword.
Yeah, you know what, I think that, look, when I opened up, when I read the pilot, I said, wow, this is the best pilot I ever read in my life. I would do anything to be an extra in this thing. I want to be a part of this so bad, and I fought like crazy to get on it. And then I found out it was based on graphic novel. I was like, oh, cool. And I opened the graphic novel, and this is like, oh, my morning. Wow, it didn't last too long, is it? So yeah, liberating, I think what's cool is that, Frank and I, when we started, we really set out to do something very specific with Shane, and I knew that he would last longer than he does in the graphic novel. And yeah, man, that is totally liberating because, but I think sort of Stephen was saying before, I think to just sort of put the graphic novel on television would be one thing. It's a great graphic novel, but the mediums are so unbelievably different. I mean, one is, is captions and pictures, and so much of what's in between, you got to fill in with your imagination. And I think on television, on television, it's all about the details. It's all about going on tangents. And what did he? What? Yeah, I guess so, man. But look, knowing that your character could fight it at any moment is tough, especially when you're working with a bunch of people you really love and you're on a show. I've been on crappy shows. It's awesome to be on a great one. But man, this is the job of a lifetime. We all know how lucky we are to be on it, and we really do. Not being a savvy actor, we really work our asses off. You know what I mean? And because we love it, we believe it. So yeah, did that answer your question? I feel liberated, brother.
So Bradley, what do you think of this panel?
I liked it. I mean, it's always cool to see those people in real life, to hear them talk about the show and kind of open up. Part of me feels sorry for them because I'm sure they have to answer a lot of the same questions from con to con, and I'm sure they're well aware of that. Having said that, they all seemed very genuinely happy to be there. I was fortunate enough to find some video of that recording so I could watch it also, and they all seemed happy to be there, smiles on their faces, giggling and just having a good time. Carl Chandler, it's so easy to call them by their characters' names.
Yeah.
Chandler, he said something about how it was the coolest
panel ever.
Yeah, and he looked sincere. It's not like, I don't think he's learned how to play the crowd yet. I just think it was a sincere little boy saying that, so that was cool. I liked it. It's sometimes you hear some of the same things, but then again, you hear it in a different context or with somebody else saying it this time instead of one actor last time. And I just got to say, Laurie Holden is a cutie pie.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. This is probably, I saw Laurie Holden, Stephen Yeun, and John Bernthal at the New York Comic Con panel, and we heard the San Diego Comic Con panel in between. I think they were all at that one too. Maybe John Bernthal wasn't. I don't remember. But John Bernthal actually makes me feel a little guilty because he seems like a heck of a nice guy, and all we really do is make fun of his pants.
Well, and you would think by now he has to have heard something about people talking about his pants, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you think that word would have trickled down to him now?
I got to say that everybody that we've mentioned it to, Irony Singleton, Norman Reedus, and Michael Rooker on Twitter, they all acted like they definitely knew what we were talking about.
Oh, sure.
Nobody was like, "What do you mean, John's pants?" So I'd have to think that he has heard it.
Yeah, I'm certain he has it. What would be even funny is if if we saw him pull his pants up or something, like he stands up, from a campfire and get ready to take care of some business, and he pulls his pants up a little bit.
That would be an animated GIF on everybody's avatar.
Oh heck yeah, that would be my forum avatar for a while. That would be awesome. Okay, since we're talking about John Bernthal, I think it's time we treat the audience, the listeners, not that we haven't, but I don't think we're fooling anybody at this point in time. We've danced around spoilers, a lot, and one character in particular. And there was some talk in this panel about Shane and his character in the comics. I think our listeners are intelligent enough to have figured out, what that spoiler is, and I'm still not going to be specific about it right now, but and I'm sure we'll continue to avoid it. But I guess all I'm saying is I want the listeners to know that we're aware that you're probably aware of what the deal is concerning Shane, and I know lots of our listeners have read the books and do know what the big spoiler stuff is for Shane. But I don't know. Do you think it's? I guess my question for you, John, is: do you think it's time we stop dancing around that particular spoiler, or do we?
Well, I hear you. See, to me, it's very tricky because of a couple of things. First of all, we need to realize that there's way many more in the TV viewing audience that will ever even think about picking up a comic book.
True that.
And that's probably a good chunk of who listens to us. Also, it's a two-part spoiler. It's what happens and how it happens.
Yeah, the what happens, I think, is
out of the bag.
It's kind of out of the bag. It hasn't specifically, I don't believe, been talked about on our show. You kind of know what it is if you just listen to the panel that we just played, but we've never talked about the how.
Right, and that's the show is so different now. Even if it happens, it's going to be completely different than what went down in the book, but it still could happen that way.
I would prefer for it to happen that way because I think it's an important development in the plot. For it to happen that way. But yeah, while I'm saying something about dancing around, is it time to stop dancing around? It's time to. I think it's okay to stop dancing around one part of that spoiler, but to continue to do the limbo around the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you for the most part. I think we'll probably let that cat out of the bag officially one day. I don't know. You know what's going to happen, Brad? It's going to happen on the show one of these days, and then we're going to get to fill in everybody.
That's true. There was a bit of foreshadowing, earlier, I guess in season 1.
Yep.
Since that's the only season that's been. But so I know we were going to wait, for Jordan, but to do news stuff. But let's go ahead and talk about season 3 being greenlit. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, somebody, it might have been a Dixon at the Dragon Con said that Chandler actually confirmed that it was greenlit for season 3, and that's the only confirmation of that I can find.
So maybe we should take it with a grain of salt. Not that Chandler is incapable of having that kind of information or even speaking the truth. That's not what I'm saying at all. But all I'm saying is that's the only place we've heard it.
Right. Maybe it's something that's being worked on that he heard and thought that it was official. I just can't imagine that it's official without it being released by AMC. And also, I don't think I've ever heard of a show being greenlit for a season before the previous season airs. Have you?
Well, I've heard of different shows being renewed for 3 more seasons.
Okay,
I suppose that's the same thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. I haven't heard of that. I usually hear, after 1 or 2 episodes kill it, then you get green light for the next season. But I'm sure you're right.
Yeah. Well, in the instance of Lost, I believe we knew in season 4 that season 6 was going to be the last season.
Yes, correct.
So that's one example. And I hesitate to bring up another news item, but we haven't talked about it, and I want to talk about it, but I don't know. Should we save it for the next show, or should we bring it up now?
I don't even know what you're talking about, so I can't comment. Go ahead.
The season 2 will be split into 2 parts with a little hiatus in between.
Yes. And the premiere will be an hour and a half. We probably didn't speak to everybody about that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good news. At first the hiatus bothered me, but then when I read something, it made me feel a lot better about it. And it concerns the budget for season 2. And I can't remember how it was worded, but basically, once production starts on an episode, that's when the budget is earmarked or debited or whatever. That money's gone. So if they delay half of the budget for a month or so, that just kind of helps the whole AMC money thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I totally do.
So I'm okay with that. I'm used to shows doing that. Do we want it? Nah, we want it all. But there's a trade-off.
And
season lasts longer, but you have to wait. So we're adults, we can wait.
Yes, and I believe it avoids Super Bowl Sunday.
That's also a good thing.
And that's a freebie for us because it's like a week that we don't have to worry about. It's a week off that we won't complain about. I won't. So that's cool.
Yeah.
One other thing about the panel, there's an almost Laurie Holden spoiler that we won't get into. But did you catch her ask if she should answer?
I did. She said, "Should I?" Yes. And I'm not going to repeat what she said. If you missed it, then good, because it's a plot development for her character later on, and it's one of my favorite things about the book.
Yeah, it's definitely. And I think we mentioned it on the commentaries. If you look back at, I think it might be Guts. There's a scene that kind of foreshadows that for her character. So it seems like almost a confirmation that that's going to happen with this character when you connect all the dots, which is cool.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I'm sure Kirkman would make sure that would happen, because that's just one of the coolest things about the book.
It's one of the Merry Christmas. It's one of the many characterizations that make The Walking Dead what it is. And like I said on the panel, it's not about zombies. It's about the people. How many times do we say that? I mean, geez. But and that's one of the plots that really brings that home.
Something else I had forgotten about, but was reminded of it in watching the video that I found for the panel, was that John Bernthal's hair has been shaved off. His head's been shaved. So I wonder how that's going to play in with season 2. I know we've mentioned that before on the show, but seeing it again reminded me of it.
Yeah, that's I think it was Russ that immediately yelled, he must get killed, as a guess, because he must be working on something else if his hair is shaved off. But who knows? Maybe they give haircuts.
Well, there are other people in the comic who shave their heads for one reason or another. So maybe the thought behind that, or part of the story from that, has been shifted over to Shane or something like that. Who knows? Do you think, as listeners to the show who don't read the book, do you think they get tired of when we talk about the book, or when we say, I wonder if this or that, and when we posit different things?
Possibly. I think in the off season it's too bad. I don't know how I don't know how we've put out, how many shows have we put out this off season? I mean, more than during the season.
Well, maybe, but I mean, obviously it's because it's a great show.
Yeah. I'm just, it's one of those things. Let me put it this way, Brad. Those people that don't like us doing that, they're probably going to start listening again in mid-October when the show starts up, and they probably take a bit of a break.
I remember when earlier in the history of the show, you were talking about our schedule for the show, and you were concerned about the off season, and obviously it really hasn't been that big of a problem.
No, I think the commentaries are working out really well because it's built-in material, so we're only really doing one, information show a month. But let's talk a little bit about that, Brad. What a perfect segue that you did purposely.
I did?
Oh, of course you did. You're a podcasting expert.
I meant to do that.
What is that, Pee Wee Herman?
Yes.
Of course it is, when he rolls off the bike, right?
Yeah, he falls off the bike. I meant to do that.
That was way before he became like a theater creep. Yeah. Okay, so this is coming out mid-September. By the end of September, we will have the commentary track for the finale of season 1, which is entitled, what is it, Brad? Not TS19, that was the last one?
No, that was Wildfire.
So is this one TS19?
It sure is.
Excellent.
So the season premiere is what, the 16th?
The season premiere is the 16th. Is that the Sunday? We are so prepared. The 16th is
Yeah,
the
it's
Sunday.
I'm looking at the calendar, so we've got, I guess, 5 weeks.
Amazing.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, hang on. This will air, what,
Let's
September 11th?
Let's call it the 11th.
Yeah, and we try to do one a week.
Well, that's what I was getting at. We're going to go back to weekly shows, so you're going to get a show by the end of September. Let's say by the 25th, you get the TS19 commentary. That's going to leave the 2nd and the 9th for just season 2 Gear Up, Geek Out Fests, and then the 16th is Rock and Roll, and we'll probably be on Tuesdays at that point because we'll watch the show Sunday, we'll record Monday, and we will have it out Tuesday because we're that dedicated.
So are we going to skip a show next week for Sunday the 18th?
I think that will probably be our last skip. I think we'll put the commentary out around the 25th.
Cool, I'm good with that.
I'm good if you're good.
That leaves 1, 2 more shows, and then, yep, cool. No, we're good. I'm sure Jordan could talk the whole time and fill it up.
Absolutely, and we'll get back next show with, after the commentary, I should say, we'll get back with your voicemails. We want to give away more DVDs. We probably could have done one tonight. I mean, you want to do one right now? I'll put a Facebook message out.
Well, that means we have to stick around and wait for a call, right?
Oh, you think? No, we don't have to do a call. We could say the first person to reply in the Facebook.
Do you want to try a call just for grins, just to see if we get one?
All right, but we're not going to wait really long.
Okay. Yeah, put a thing out on Facebook.
Okay, say some other things while I do that.
Say some other things. Okay, I will give out my copy this week, and I'll even put it in a newer Blu-ray case. How's that? So it'll feel new, it'll feel and look new. I'm really thirsty, by the way. Are you having a beverage?
I'm not having a beverage, and I drank the last adult beverage earlier.
Well, I finished one before we started, but
which is bad planning.
No, we're good.
Okay, so
did you just put something out?
I'm officially doing it now.
Okay. Are you set up to take a phone call?
Sure. 516. What's our
You're always set up to take a phone call, aren't you?
Well, yeah, if I can remember the number. 468. Okay, gotcha. I had to get in like my podcast voice to remember what the number is.
Yeah, after saying the phone number for my show for, gosh, it's been over 4 years now. I've been doing my show. It's only taken 4 years for me to memorize it.
Okay, so we're gonna try this for a couple minutes and see what happens.
I'm gonna pull up the Facebook and see what you wrote.
I wrote, want to win a Walking Dead Blu-ray? Call 516-468-7912, and then I wrote now, so they know they should do it now.
According to the Facebook, it said you did it about a minute ago. Oh, I'm just something something else we can talk about while we're waiting. Possible that Frank Darabont will continue to be at least entitled an executive producer of the program.
Yeah, that's some news that came out, and I really think that it's Damage Control.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I'd like him to still be involved.
Well, that's kind of like calling. Do we know any of the episode titles for season 2 yet?
We know that they are. We have one of them, I believe, and it's named after a trade.
I'm calling it up right now.
You can find that on hhwlod.com or walkingdeadtv.com.
Was that you that did that just then?
Sure was.
Ding.
I'm towing a line here, Brad, because if somebody calls in and I have a webpage open, I'm not going to see it. But they probably have to call because we didn't warn them ahead of time.
We're all about spontaneity.
And spontaneity, correct.
Let me do the looking. Miles Behind Us is the title of episode 1 for season 2.
Yes.
Miles Behind Us.
I believe that to be true. And there was speculation that since he's used trade paperback titles before, and this was a trade paperback title, that at least the premiere and the finale, I guess, would be, names of the book volumes as well. But who knows? All right, so I'm ready to call this a colossal failure.
Well, you know what? We could even edit this out if we want to.
It's probably funnier if it stays.
Yeah.
But we will try again. So point being, you need to be in the Facebook group. You need to follow the Twitter, which is WDTV Podcast. We do tons of news on the spot on Twitter and Facebook. So, your bigger...
I'm posting a Time's Up message on Facebook. Time's Up.
Tomorrow, somebody's going to say, that was fast.
Too late.
Yeah, so follow get on the Facebook group, Walking Dead TV Podcast, get on the Twitter, WDTV Podcast, and you could win a DVD, a Blu-ray, or be up on all the latest news.
So how are we going to give away my copy?
Maybe we'll do this again next time, but we'll think of it earlier and tell people like a few hours in advance to try it this time.
It's probably a better idea.
Or maybe make a cool video again like you did for your trade paperbacks.
That was fun. Maybe I'll give it some thought.
Yeah, give it a little thought.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, John.
I agree. It is always a pleasure to talk to me. I say we say goodnight, Brad.
Hey, John, you want to hear my Jordan impression?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of how he sounds in my head. If all the other voices would stop, maybe I could hear Jordan's. Anyway, it would be something like, and remember. Doesn't he start him with his, and remember?
Yeah, sometimes he says, and remember twice, but only you do it once.
And remember, when the world stops turning and there are no more soap operas on, either that or when hell gets too full. Something, what does he say? I probably should have researched this before I did it.
When the dead walk the earth, remember. That's when he says remember twice, but it's like...
Remember, when the dead walk the earth and you don't prepare your call-ins ahead of time, your episode will be a colossal failure. Have a good week, everybody.
You love it.